In Germany, it's not Christmas without Domino Stones. Domino Stones, or as we say, Dominosteine, are a tiny little cake, a little bit like petit fours, and they are really a part of Christmas, of the Christmas time. It's a 3-layer tiny cake with some Lebkuchen on the bottom. That's our kind of gingerbread or honey bread. Then it is topped with a layer of fruit preservative, and on top of that goes some marzipan, and that is all covered in some chocolate. So it's an absolute delicious thing. I really love them. I can usually buy them at Aldi, but they are really not the same as, when they are fresh baked. So I'm going to do this today. It's a little bit of work, but it's not really complicated. You need a lot of ingredients since there are two, well, actually, if you count the chocolate cover, there are 4 layers. So here's what you need for this recipe. You need some water, brown sugar, flour, sherry preservative. You can also use something else. If you don't like sherry, you can just use something like apricot or berry preservative. Then you need some Lebkuchengewürz. That's the German gingerbread. Though people ask me, why is there no ginger in your gingerbread? Well, it's a very loose transition for the word gingerbread. So we also call Lebkuchen honey cake, Honigkuchen. And I have this homemade mixture, and if you want to know how to do that, the link for that is here. There you can make your own German gingerbread mix, or you can try to get some at Amazon. I will look for a link and will put it underneath the video in the description box. So then you need some cocoa, some honey, some molasses, and for reference I show you which one I'm using. It can be any molasses, but I think some people are not familiar with what it is, so that's why I show you this bottle. Then also I need some soda, butter, pinch of salt, baking powder, also of course the marzipan. You also need some gelatine and chocolate to cover this all. All right, so that's what you need, and the quantities are, like always, on the blog post and the printable recipe, where you can switch between the metric and the US customary measurements. All right, let's get started. The first thing to do is to mix the water with the sugar, the honey, and the molasses. And as you probably guessed from the saucepan, I have to heat this. So I will put this on the stove. I will then add the butter and the cocoa powder and the salt once it's a little warm. And I stir this in, and once it is all combined, I'm putting it aside and let it cool again. Next thing to do is mixing the flour with the soda and with the baking powder. And once the liquid has cooled, I'll mix it with this flour mixture and create a batter. As you can see, it's very, very liquid. And for that reason, I have put some baking paper underneath this baking frame. I put it on maximum size. I kind of wonder if I should make it a little smaller. I don't want this to be too high, but also not too thin. Let's just get it a little smaller. Okay. This goes now in here. I am currently preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And brace yourself, once that's in the oven and starts baking, it's gonna smell fantastic in your kitchen. Also make it a little smaller here. And this goes now into the oven. After about 15 minutes of baking, I take this out and cover it thoroughly, in this case with aluminum foil, which is a rare case for me. And I let this cool now, and meanwhile take care of the preservative. So for the preservative, I'm mixing the gelatine into the cherry preservative that I have here. And I stir it in. And this goes now onto the stove and I bring it to a boil. Now the cake has completely cooled and the next layer is going to go on top of it now. For that I'm taking the preservative and simply pour it on top of the cake. I make sure that it goes everywhere, making a thin layer of it. And now I have to wait for this to become solid. The jelly is solid now, and the next step is to make the marzipan. So I'm rolling out the marzipan at the size of this cake here. Okay, I transfer it on top of this now. And it's time now to remove the frame. It shouldn't be too difficult because I greased it. I can already see that it's easy to remove here. Okay. So now I want to flip this over, which will make it easier to cut this. So I'm taking this board and just flip it like this. And I'm removing the paper. And I can smell the specific honey cake smell. Wonderful. The size of a domino stone is about 1 inch in this recipe. So maybe a little less than 1 inch. It's more like 1 centimeter. So like this. You can make them larger if you want. And if the knife becomes sticky, you just wipe it off with some water. And the task that is left is now to cover these domino stones in chocolate. So I melted some chocolate. And I first tried to do it with the chocolate that you use for fruits, but it turns out it's too thick. It's not liquid enough, so I'm just melting some dark chocolate here. And I'll just take one of my cubes here and I dip it into the chocolate. And then it goes here onto some parchment or some wax paper. And I'll continue this now with the remaining cubes here. It will take some time and a little bit of patience, but it's totally worth it. As expected, this took a while, but I'm finished now and I have plenty of little domino stones and I will enjoy them during Christmas time. Now, I cut one open so you can see the layers. I'm not sure if you can see it very well here on the video, but you see the cake, then the layer of the jam and the layer of the marzipan, and that all is surrounded by chocolate. It's a delicious, divine little treat. I hope you try it out, even though it's a little bit of work, and then it will bring some sort of German Christmas to your home. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, maybe even the thank you button. Thanks for being part of my German food community and have a wonderful Christmas time, maybe checking out some more of my Christmas videos.